Welcome to a new episode of Barbells and Babies, private and public podcast. Girls, today I'm going to be sharing a really brief list with you basically of the things that knock you off and why your diet keeps starting on Monday. I know that might sound to some very repetitive, but completely starting a diet every single Monday is something that becomes pretty repetitive and something that really drains on your energy and makes you also feel like nothing works for me and everything's absolutely failing. Because that happens as a female. You start to feel like absolutely nothing works. You feel fed up and you feel disappointed that every Monday you enter the same routine, almost going into a victim mindset and a failure mindset that like nothing you do is right. You can't get it right. You're constantly doing something wrong. Really, it's not that at all. But again, this is something that I battled with for years, especially in college. I found it really, really difficult to balance the all or nothing mindset. As a female that grew up around diet culture, constantly eating less and less and less and less, and moving more was the whole concept of females and weight loss, of being skinny. Everybody wanted to be skinny. Strong was never ever mentioned. And I love that things have changed now in reality for us, that it's perfectly okay to want to be lean and aesthetically lean for yourself, but we also are allowed to be strong, to have metabolisms that we require more food than a banana and a cereal bar, and that things like sentences that Kate Moss would have shared or things that were found in magazines years ago, these diets at the back pages, these are things that are primarily unhealthy now and really ridiculed, and we want to keep it that way. So, when you're looking at things that knock you off or make you start a diet every single Monday, we have to look at number one, your mindset, where you're coming from. Are you actually in enough pain as to where you are right now? And that might sound ridiculous, but enough pain means you reach a stage where you are totally fed up with how you feel. And girls, this was the turning point for me. Not like, oh, I put on a dress and I was like, I need to lose a few pounds. It was literally day to day, I felt like utter rubbish. I woke up in the morning, I felt exhausted. I didn't feel confident no matter what I wore, whether it was day to day, into work, or even on a night out. I used to hate my body going out on a night out, and I used to dread trying to pick an outfit to suit my body shape because I was so ridiculing every little aspect of myself. I didn't like myself. And that's okay because females do feel like that, okay? But it's recognizing that when I reached that point, and I still refer back to this, I never ever wanted to feel like that again. And a lot of that came from movement. A lot of that did not come from like, oh, I need to be this weight on the scale. It just came from, I need a new routine. I need a new normal for me that makes me feel good on the day to day. And the results will come with that, which it did. I don't think I weighed myself for a good 2 months in the beginning because I was just so heavily focused on my exercise, my training, learning more about that, making this a staple in my routine and focusing on the smaller habits. So we're going to start off with the first thing that literally makes us drop off Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then we feel like we're restarting again on Monday. And that's the all or nothing trap. Huge, huge trap as a female because we want to give it our all. So we end up treating dieting like a pass or fail test. And I notice this with clients as well. It can be like, oh, I passed this week because I ticked every single box, or I failed because I forgot to drink enough water this week, and that automatically scheduled a fail. Or I had a takeaway Saturday night. Oh, failed the week. The week is fucked. Forget about it all and start again on Monday. And this sort of cycle can is so damaging for your mindset. Fat loss comes from consistent averages, and that is hugely important. A consistent average across the week. One meal, higher meal, one night out. This does not dictate the average across your week. But it's not, we're not looking for perfect days. We're just looking for that consistency. one snack, one takeaway, couple of drinks on a Saturday night, these things will not add up to undoing your progress of the entire week. But quitting on your week does. Just on this note, girls, I want to drop in really, really quickly into this episode that our next block of She Achieves starts on the 30th of March or the 13th of April after Easter holidays. The priority access is through the waitlist opt-in. So if you're listening on the public podcast here, you will know that the waitlist is linked in my bio on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and you can opt in there. Within that, it will give you priority access into She Achieves. So that's where you get your €50 off. I will onboard you into the system as soon as I can, generally 3 to 4 days before your program starts. So you've time to settle in, time to get your bearings, also get your food shop done and know what goals we're focusing on in your first 2 weeks. You will also learn how the system works and get to know some of the girls within the community groups as well. That group starts on the 30th of March or the 13th of April. If you want more info on the priority list, just DM me priority across. And if you're a current client and you want to avail of this priority access, then just message me in the app. So we've mentioned all or nothing as number one. Hugely, hugely important. A trap we don't want to fall into because when we do, it fucks up our weeks every single week and it fucks with your mind. Okay. So the thing we're looking at as a substitute for this is we look at minimums and maximums. Clients, you will know exactly what I'm talking about when I say the minimum and the maximum. Okay. As busy mums, we need a little bit more flexibility and everything has to be very time efficient. So instead of strict rules, and this goes for your calories as well, when you're in the program, you will notice I always, always give you ranges of not only your calorie balance, but ranges of protein, ranges of step counts, and the ranges are hugely important for establishing consistency. Okay. Consistency is the overall thing that we're aiming for as busy mums because that's what's going to give you your results. Not like locking in like really hell for leather, just giving it your all and your whole attention. Because as a mum and as a busy female in general, it's not always possible to give 100% focus to your health and fitness on every single week, okay? We all lead lives. We all have personal things that crop up in our lives that take way higher priority than you hitting 12,000 steps in one day. Let's be completely honest here. So we have to have that minimum and maximum. Minimum amount of workouts that you do on a busy week. So you can look at this as your necessities that you need to hit targets for. You can look at it as maybe every second week you have a different work schedule. If you're working part-time, you might end up doing 3 workouts one week, four the next. You might end up doing no walks one week, focusing on your workouts, and then in your less busier week, you get to incorporate a little bit more cardio as well, okay? You will establish your minimum and maximum. When you're in the program, this is something that I will look at for you. And being totally honest, for 95% of females, what I focus on for you is starting with your minimum. And the reason for that is because when you start with your minimum, you build the consistent baseline habits that you're going to continue with, even as you build throughout your program. Okay, starting with your minimum makes it easy. And the reason for that is because a lot of the time we only need our minimum to actually see the results and the goals that we want to hit. Okay, we don't need to start with the maximum amount of shit. We need to just start with the basics and the minimum amount of things we need. And for some females, that is literally looking at tweaks in their diet. For others, it's a baseline amount of exercise, and we build on that week on week. Okay, we're not going hell for leather on week one. It's to be consistent across each week. Coming to number three is another reason why the diet starts on Monday, cutting out whole food groups. Girls, I can't stress that enough. And a lot of you know right now that with gestational diabetes, I was diagnosed with this over a month ago. I have found the the most restrictive diet ever. And believe me, I tried lots of diets before I found an approach that worked to my lifestyle the best. And the approach I even now use in fat loss phases, it has never ever been this restrictive. And this restrictive of a diet, I can guarantee you, is something that is very, very hard to maintain long term. Okay. Like for a GD diet, you're cutting out huge amounts of carbs. It's minimally processed foods. And while I wouldn't have lived on these products, I would have always, and shared with you all a balance of moderation. Okay. So when we're looking at your diet and you're looking at cutting out whole food groups, please don't. Just please don't. It creates negative relationships with food, guilt associations with food long term, that you're afraid to eat certain foods. And there's absolutely no reason for that. And also, like, your cravings absolutely explode on the weekend. Oh, Monday to Thursday is great. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, boom. It's like everything that you weren't allowed all week. I'll just have it right now. So, a sustainable approach includes all foods in the right amounts. Hence, why I always stress you have one meal in the week or snacks on one of the evenings that is your own. That's totally normal, totally fine, and you're not banning them completely. Removing chocolate from your diet completely. Why? Why? Is that going to last long term? Removing alcohol completely, removing bread. Like, girls, we need bread, we need carbs, we need these things in our lives. So please do not remove whole food groups, because the diet starts on Monday yet again when we do this. Restriction, and that level of restriction usually does lead to binging cycles that crop up on your weekends. Okay, so we don't want that. We want something that's way more consistent across 7 days, not four. You hear me say this sentence a lot, brings me to number four. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Doing the same thing, expecting different results. Starting every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, doing the exact same thing, hell for leather. Friday, Saturday, Sunday become higher calorie days, binge days. Even if they don't, maybe they're not tracked to the same level, again becomes what difference is next Monday going to make? What way are we going to approach next Monday? Because what happens then is you get stuck in this cycle yet again, all or nothing. You feel like, okay, I need to go hell for leather Monday to Thursday to undo the things I've done on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Guilt, restriction, binge. Here we go, stuck in this negative cycle associated with food. We need to get out of that. That's like, the diet can't start every Monday. We just need to change these things. So if you have been eating very little, skipping meals, and doing endless cardio, and then your progress isn't moving, the answer in that sense is not doing more of the same. We need to shift what we look at. So, for example, you will have heard me mention things like refeed, maintenance, alterations of macros within your diet. These things are hugely, hugely important because you're changing the way things are done. And by changing the way things are done, you will receive results, different results. We can't keep doing the same thing and expect something different, okay? If you're going to keep cutting calories, you reach a stage where you cannot physically cut calories any lower. Binge and restrict comes in, the weekends bleed in, and then you feel like you're at square one again, okay? It doesn't have to be like that. It does not have to be like that. Sometimes the progress does come from eating more, lifting more weights, heavier weights, and also improving your sleep and your stress. And that's huge things to look at, not only through our programs, but also as a female in general, okay? Don't underestimate the power of these smaller tweaks and smaller things to change within your life each day. Number five, what I've literally just mentioned throughout, the Monday to Thursday diet. Girls, Monday to Thursday is one of the most incredibly common diets. And you will notice this because even online for meal prep. You see people share, oh, their Sunday meal prep, and it's rarely for 7 days. It covers four, maybe five, most of the time three. Now, you imagine you're dedicating that time on Sunday evening after you've maybe had Friday, Saturday, and most of Sunday eating crap, and you're like, no, that's it. I'm resetting now on Sunday, and you're prepping on Sunday for the next 3 days. What's going to happen on Thursday and Friday and Saturday again, once again, okay? This is why, yes, I love prep and I love when it covers more than 3 days. Like, I think it's really essential. But also, we can prep for the weekends, okay? Might not sound glamorous, but we can prep on a Friday. Small things that will tide us over. What meals get missed on your weekends? Is it your Saturday lunch? Because I feel like that's a big one. Do you have snacks that you can throw in your handbag when you're going to activities with the kids that bring you to your next meal? Do you ever track your calories the night before for your weekends, or do you say, oh, fuck it, I'll do that on Monday? Because all these smaller habits will add up to every weekend stepping on the scale Monday morning and seeing an increase. And like you will still see fluctuations if you've had one higher meal, and that's fine. Do you know, we all are well aware of that. A fluctuation on a Monday morning, if your higher day is Sunday, that's okay. You're going to see that. Okay. The scale isn't the be all and end all, but the scale can really fuck with your mind. So if you've had a crappy weekend and you decide, you know what, Monday morning, I'll definitely step on the scale to see where I'm starting from. Oh, wait, I'm starting from where I was starting last Monday. It's not setting a positive, consistent approach to what we're going to do this week differently. Okay. Nothing changes if nothing changes. So we're not looking for perfection. And this is what happens with the Monday to Thursday diet. Perfection Monday to Thursday, like hitting every target consistently. Oh my God, I'm absolutely flying. Friday and Sunday are loose, 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 loose. So, fat loss is over the entire week, the entire month. It's not just Monday to Thursday. And what happens is them two higher calorie days that you feel you maybe didn't eat regularly enough, or you had a lot of things on, or you didn't track because you knew you were going to find it a bit more difficult to stay accountable, it erases your 4 day deficit and you hit a maintenance, and you spend most of the week, the next week, trying to erase the water retention alone from your weekend, and then you stay at the same. So nothing changes. You're seeing the fluctuation of the same like kilo every single week. When we're looking at that, what you want to do is bring some of your baseline habits, just as we spoke about on your minimum. You're looking at your minimum baseline habits and bringing them into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, tracking the night before. Maybe you drink 2.5 liters of water. Maybe you have specific snacks that you bring with you on the road that tide you over. It could be a protein bar and a coffee you pick up in the shop. Okay, maybe it is that you eat at regular times and that continues on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You eat at your usual breakfast, lunch, and dinner time. You still are allowed to have your one meal or your snacks on a Saturday night that are outside of that, but track it to stay accountable, okay? If you're going over on your calories, you can always see then, okay, this is what's happening. This is what needs to change. Girls, this is a very short episode for you today, but I wanted this to be short so that everybody gets a chance to listen to it. Okay, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you when I speak about these things happening again and again, because we are women that grew up in a generation where dieting was just hardcore. Like it was hardcore, and it was an approach that worked for an event or like for a couple of days, and you're trying to drop water weight more than anything. Okay, it's not about creating a positive relationship with food going forward. We all care about people coming behind us and what they see when it comes to food, what approaches they're watching. You might not think they're watching, but they're watching absolutely everything. And even now, and I hate sharing this, But even now with the gestational diabetes, that is something I found really difficult, is that I feel I'm saying I can't have that. I can't eat that right now, saying no to Jackson, to sharing something with him. And that has never, never been an approach that Barbells and Babies adopts. It's never approach that I have used in like nutrition coaching um towards a lifestyle change, because these things don't give you long-term results, okay? They give you short-term fixes, long-term problems. And that's not what we want to focus on. I hope you really enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're on the public podcast. And if you took anything from today, please, please, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you.